use that spelling because that won't take you to
That's true. Subscribe to Clamstream. Anyway, yeah, TD is out. Interestingly enough, we're going to follow along with those bracket developments as we go on. But folks, welcome to Top 8. No, you don't need to rub your eyes. That is 29th seed Dark, the Snake, taking us to small battlefield for game number 1 alongside the defending weekly champion Yoshi-O, the last codename Bairs winner. And now as we're kicking off with regular Bairs, trying to carry on as he left off.
Yep, and right now we see the Snake versus Samus matchup, and I do believe that just before my tenure here, that we heard, like, Samus is becoming a more popular pick, so everyone needs to start learning this matchup, especially if you're going to regionals, especially if you're going to nationals. And we do have competitors here who are going to be going to the Panda Cup finale. So this is, in general, just a very important matchup for not just Yoshi-O, but also Dark, because, like, by any chance, you are going to keep on seeing Samus here.
You know, gotta say, with all the talk of banning characters and everything, a little shocked that the banned Snake talk didn't get a little further than it did in the first 2 years of this game's life cycle. This thing was one of the characters that dominated the meta, as Yoshi-O is going to score that back air and score the first kill of this best-of-3 clip. But with Dark being able to do what he is, it's just utilizing the same tools that people like MVD and Apollo Kage have been utilizing for quite some time now. Just very effective, efficient, solid Snake play. No pun intended.
Oh, absolutely. And just there was a wonderful example of it, because he's been playing very clean with his grenade game. He is denying so much of what Samus prioritizes most, and that is zoning. Like, I don't think there's any other way to say it than the most basic, because as we see, like, anything that Samus wants to do, they have to fight for it, and it's not in the location that they want to.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, Snake is a zoner, Samus is the zonist.
Yeah.
That is what Dark has to contend with. You do have those buttons that you're able to utilize and get some of those early-ish kills. Certainly an up tilt would be welcome. Yoshi-O said, I mean, you're more than welcome to try to come in my space. I mean, it's easier said than done, as Yoshi-O has been more than keen to demonstrate thus far. But really just kind of working around, letting them jump into these bombs. Then again, you have the grenades to match. Those things are active awful early for Dark's taste.
Yeah, and while I'd say that Snake is a fantastic boxer in his own right, even grenades aside, like, we see Yoshi-O just way more comfortable kind of going in to just all of these fights.
And now Dark sitting at the ledge, gonna be running into the C4 is Yoshi-O. Sitting at nearly triple digits, one more hit will do it. I mean, you're right on the cusp, but then again, you're fighting back and looking for this victory. You're almost not even minding the relatively chip damage that you're taking from these grenades. You're absolutely not liking the C4 to the face, however.
Oh yeah, and to be clear, both of these players are doing very good at zoning the other, which is something that can be very difficult in this matchup. Usually if someone gets the lead, that's just going to be the game right there. But we've seen, like, a trade here and there in terms of who has the dominant hand. And right now, it definitely looks like Dark might be just getting just enough to have, like, to be in range of kill percent, really.
I mean, you were talking about it being doing well in the recovery game, but Yoshi-O going to take advantage of the low recovery from Snake. Those are the sorts of mistakes that you really don't want to be using. Not even mistakes, the sort of situations that you don't want to be put in as Snake, especially against someone as practiced as Yoshi-O. 2 kills off of the back air in that one game.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, one thing that Snake has that Samus just does not is generally, like, a pretty good combo game. Dark Samus, you might have the more universal projectiles, I guess you could say. But Snake, when you get in there, you just keep on going.
Now we're going to have to see what kind of traps that Solid Snake can set for Samus. as we go to Stadium for game number 2. Was not meaning for that alliteration, but then again, I'm not going to apologize for it.
Hey, it works. If it works, it works. Nothing wrong with that.
Sure the hell does.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, see. An explosive start to this game number 2, piling up the damage on Yoshi-O. That has not been the problem in accumulating damage. It's keeping the lead and staying in that advantageous state. It's going to try to get out of it with buttons, and it works that time, though I will say it has a shelf life.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that I feel Yoshi-O is doing that's just giving him like a little bit of an edge to really get in on a character who's notoriously difficult to is the Zair. Because the Zair is interrupting everything that Dark wants to do when getting in most of the time. However, we do see the grenades. They are constantly asserting pressure, as Snake is known to do, and it's just making Yoshi-O have to work way more for this. And based on what we saw, it's definitely starting to take its toll on both players.
Quite literally snaking his way through some of the projectiles that Yoshi-O was offering. How about we smoke him out of there with a little bit of action on the platform. Now Yoshi-O at 127% on the cusp of losing this one. Is going to be a down throw, and oh, a jump instead. I guess trying to read a mash out of.
Yeah, I think that was an attempt to read an up tilt or something.
I believe you're right, and I don't necessarily blame him. I will say Dark doing pretty well to mix up methods with which he's getting these kills. This 29th seed has been playing far above his, punching above his weight throughout this entire tournament, and it's showing here against Yoshi-O.
Oh, absolutely. Yoshi-O was, I believe Yoshi-O was favored to, if not take it all, be in the top 4. So having such a close match with Dark right now, that's quite astounding. And that isn't to say that, like, you know, Yoshi-O's doing bad or anything. It's just great to see how much Dark is over-exceeding expectations. Especially in such a stacked local like this one. I mean, we have someone who is qualifying for the Panic Cup finale, and we have the 29th seed possibly going to be taking a spot greater than that.
I mean, you have so many people coming through here. This is the crossroads between MDVA and Tri-State, and this is a bracket that is reflective of that. You have Panda Cup qualificants. You have Smash World Tour qualificants coming through here on a regular basis. You have past Summit attendees, and I'm just going to say it, perhaps future Summit attendees here in this bracket, and that's just what Philadelphia is, the city of fighters, and Yoshi-O throwing down the gauntlet to Dark. If you want to survive in this winner's bracket, you're going to have to do so over my dead body.
Yeah, and one thing that I feel that Yoshi-O is especially struggling with right now is specifically the C4. Because one thing that I'm noticing time and time again is that he's not really getting tripped up by the grenades. If anything, when he gets hit by them, he uses that to his advantage. However, it's not that he forgets where the C4 is, but it's like a lack of anticipation. Like, because it shuts down all of the moves that Samus might have at their disposal. Just, I mean, having that extra lag, all of that.
You just gotta be aware of it, where it is at all times. It's just like in any sport, your awareness of the field is going to dictate how successful you are playing that game. You really gotta be aware of as the bottom of those boots. Snake, a solid performance in game number 2, and that's a, again, you kind of wonder if maybe Dark Samus hurting Yoshi-O in that instance, standing just a little bit taller. That's why you're catching a face full of Semtex more than half the time.
I have to agree, and I do believe that this is a first to 3 now that we're in winner semis. Is that correct?
Nope.
It is not correct.
I'm sorry?
Nope, it's
yeah, it's best of 3.
It's best of 3, not first to 3.
It's first to 2.
Yeah, first to 2 until top 4. So
top 4. Okay, that's where it is.
So winner semifinals, we'll be getting into the first to 3 stuff. Losers semis and losers finals.
Yeah, I'm a bit new to this local. I'm not gonna lie, but hey, that's where all the fun begins, I guess.
Don't worry. I mean, if you're anything like me, you can be here for years and years and still not really know anything.
That's fair.
But if you talk authoritatively enough, people will just kind of agree with you and take you at your word, and that's how you succeed in commentary, kids.
That's how you succeed in commentary.
Yeah, I mean, if you speak with enough bravado and enough authority, I mean, someone's bound to believe you.
Yeah, and that's why Villager's top 10, you know?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, follow me at Twitter. I don't know.
At Jake Paul.
Yeah,
anyway,
at Jake Paul.
We're going to thank you for joining us at Zaxby's. I appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime.
Well, enough of that.
Speaking of Zaxby's, we are going to see Yoshi-O getting a little fried at the beginning, just with all of the fire effects. But right now, like, it seems that both opponents are trying to figure out what exactly Yoshi-O can do against the Snake. Because Yoshi-O, he really likes to have as much of the stage as possible just to continue those quick combos, a lot of damage pile up. But Snake doesn't really let you do that. At least not as much as Yoshi-O would like to do. So.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if this is a means to counteract the C4, which is definitely a point that Yoshi-O would have identified as a weakness throughout that game 2, and really that game 1 as well. I would say correctly so. Yeah. I mean, you're catching them with the you're throwing change-ups after maybe a curveball. Well, guess what? Now you're coming in, you see Yoshi, here comes the fastball, let's see if you can hit it.
Yeah, and based on like Yoshi's aerials versus, say, Samus, it definitely makes sense, even outside of the C4 range, a reason that you would want Yoshi, because he can, much like Snake, pile up a lot of damage real quick, and really, the eggs are punishing Dark's attempts to get in right now, so.
I am getting intel saying that Dark once shaved a single eyebrow on stream for the viewers, which I have to say, that's dedication. You're going to need something like that in order to take on Yoshi-O, who is going to utilize this Yoshi that we saw in Grand Finals last week of Codename Bairs. That's the same dinosaur that wound up taking that weekly is the one that Dark is going to have to face off against. And right now has an advantage and is piling up even more, 63 points worth.
Yeah, but one thing that Dark is trying to say right now is that you are not at Codename Bairs anymore. Like, we are seeing, even in a pretty...
Oh!
Wow,
okay. Excuse me! Yo, I think Yoshi-O might have something to say about that, my guy!
Yeah, I think he might. I think I might have, I think this is the first commentator's curse I might have done. Wow. First time for everything, I guess.
It happens to the best of us, my friend.
Man. It's fine.
Unreal. We're going to see the Mortar taking the first stock off of Yoshi-O. Is it too little, too late? However, we're getting 2 headbutts. Hang on a second.
Oh, and he gets the third. He gets the third. He gets the spike for the second time in the game, and he just takes it.
One fair ain't enough, Jack. You better make it 3. Yoshi-O moving on to winners finals in authoritative fashion.
Absolutely.
And we saw, and really just started up. Look at that. Just the startup with what it could be called the regular Bair.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we get it. 1, 2, 3. Gets the spike and hitbox on the last one. That is some tremendous.